Students are requested to mute your sound while session is ongoing. Okay. Today's topic is impact of film review and criticism, and Jyotirmay sir will conduct this session. Okay, and Jyotirmay sir,
Yes, yes. Good morning. Good morning, all.
yes. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay. So, Anindra sir, may I start? Anindra sir, may I start?
Yes, yes. Sir, you can start.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So, firstly, I would like to share my PPT. PPT is visible, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, visible.
Okay. Thank you. So, today's topic is impact of film review and criticism. So, we all are aware about these keywords. There are three basic keywords we can see. One is film review, another is criticism, film criticism, we're talking about film criticism, and another is impact. While we are talking about the impact, that means we are talking about the impact on cinema. Again, please mute your mics. So when we talk about impact, that means we are talking about impact on cinema. And when we talk about impact on cinema, the word cinema is actually a larger, it has a larger aspect. Cinema doesn't mean a single film or a kind of film or a film of any topography. Cinema means the entire film fraternity. People who are associated with the industry, or those people, the actors, the producers, the filmmakers, technicians, and viewers as well, producers as well, distributors as well. So when we talk about impact, that means we are talking about impact on all these components, all this area. So today we are going to talk about the impact of film review and criticism on cinema. And again, cinema means the entire film fraternity, the producers, the creators, to the receivers. Okay, receiver means us, those who see the film, enjoy the film, and the creators are content creators, and the distributors between this, the creators and receivers, so distributors stays in between. So, the review and criticism. So, yes, we have some basic idea. I know that. What does it mean, the reviews and the criticism? Review, we all know very well, because we see IMDb ratings, we see some popular magazines, or nowadays a lot of students, management students, other students, out of their interest, they have become a lot of bloggers or YouTubers. We can see that they review films. So yes, there's some technical problem. The scholars can identify those technical problems. Those are different issues, but we know the film review means when someone saw the film and he talks about that. And criticism means a critical analysis of that. So today we are going to analyze these two terms clearly. The how a film review. Today, I'm not going to teach you how to write film review or how to write criticism. I want to give you some concept about review and criticism, by which when you go and read, write or listen film review or film criticism, you can understand whether it is a good review or good criticism or not. And then you can understand the impact of criticism and impact of film review on cinema. This is one thing. And another thing, actually, a basic concept about film review is what I have said already. Someone just saw the film and he talks about something or writes about something of that. And we just decide that whether we should go to watch the film or not. And criticism means something more than that, some critical analysis of that. So we have this kind of one-line idea about film review and criticism, which is absolutely not. So a lot of other things we need to know about film review and film criticism. That is today we are going to talk. So I'm next slide. Yes, relevancy of film criticism. I'd like to start my session with a very popular interview, well-known interview. You all know Jalu Godar, right? Film students should know the name of that person. Once one journalist asked Jalu Godar that when mass don't have any idea about film language, then why should people or reviewer or criticism writer, film critic should write about film language? So we don't bother about the film language or the camera height or the lens, which kind of lens cinematographer used, or color tone, or the other minute components, sound or filters. So we should not bother about this. We should focus on the content, because people go to the theaters for watching or experiencing the contents only. So people are fond of contents, not for the forms. So Goddard replied with a very humble way that the people or masses, maybe mass don't have any idea about film language, the camera height, camera movement, camera or editing pattern, editing structures, montage, continuity editing. They don't have any clear idea, theoretical knowledge or conceptual framework about all this cinematic names or terms, though people or mass receives the codes or the signal through the film language. So that's why our audience don't have any idea about the scholarly terms of filmmaking, that people receives the signal of a filmmaker through those film language, the camera height, lensing, color tone, everything. So I just wanted to discuss these two terms, that form and content, in this context. That content means what we are going to show into the film. Content. What? If the answer is what? If the question is what? The answer is the content. the film, the story is about what? The film is about what? The answer is the content. When we explain the content, so that means we are answering the question of what. Okay, so this is the content. So most of the people, or amateur people, or laymen, think that people or the mass likes the content only, and mass are fond of the content. The what people, what director is going to show us, or the subject of matter is the main important thing, which is absolutely not correct. Then another thing is here. This is the form. How? When question is how I'm going to show the content, how I'm going to present the film in front of our audience. The answer is that means I'm talking about the form. How I'm going to present. So what I'm going to present means we're talking about the content, and how I am going to present, that means the form. So form is very important. Why? If I give you one simple example, then you can relate that why the form is more important. Say, for example, we know the story Devdas, the Shahrukh Khan's Devdas, or Dilip Kumar Saab Devdas, or some more older Devdas. And it's an open story. Anybody can take this story and make the film. The thing is that the story will be same, right? That means content will be same. But if anybody, Tom, Dick, Harry, will come and make the Devdas, because in my knowledge, as per my knowledge, I know till now more than 15 Devdases has been done by Indian film directors. More than 15. Okay, but we know mostly 4 or 5 Devdas, right? So what about the other 10 Devdas? That means those are not that popular, or people rejected those Devdas, right? So that means the content is not that important. The form is important. How I'm going to present the content is more important. And here comes a very critical job of film critics or film reviewer to address those forms, or the how. Actually, the content is fixed. If the content, so there is a very common say. People say that some scholars says that the content doesn't matter. You can take a very simple content, but the form is very important. You can if you form your story or form your content in a better way, you can present a very you can create a very good cinema. So these are the introductory part of this today's lecture. Now we're going to talk about the criticism. What is criticism? To know about the criticism and review, we need to know what is a film criticism and what is film review. Then we'll go for the next, the impact of these two. Okay, till now, if you have any question, you can ask. If you have any question, you can ask me. Then okay, fine. No questions. So what is criticism? Criticism is actually criticism is a scholarly approach towards cinema. This is not my first point, though. I would like. Excuse me. Though it's not my first point, I've written it in the third point. So I'd like to start with this one. The criticism, film criticism, is an academic or scholarly approach to cinema. Okay, here is the basic difference between film criticism and film review. Yeah, review is a kind of criticism. Review is also a kind of criticism, but the pure film criticism has a scholarly approach, and review has a journalistic approach or amateuristic approach. Okay, we'll discuss, we'll explain during film review, but now we are discussing criticism. So the first thing, the film criticism is it has one academic or scholarly approach. So what does it mean, the academic approach or scholarly approach? So no popular words. You need to explain each and everything. Okay, so you can use adjectives. You can use, firstly, in criticism, we need to avoid adjectives. So if you use any adjective, you have to explain those adjectives, why you have used those adjectives. Okay, and with scholarly or academic thing. If you have used one sentence like wonderful camera works or wonderful cinematography, so why you are saying that's wonderful, you have to explain the use of light, the use of lens, the appropriate use of lens with the narrative or with the emotion, how it convey the emotion with the lensing or the lighting. So you need to explain each and every adjective what you have used with the proper explanation and academic way, not in just like that ki mujhe acha laga to likh diya. So just don't use personal emotion. Don't use personal emotion. Just when you are writing a criticism or reading a criticism, if the critic write his own emotion, if he attacked himself emotionally, then this is not a very good critic or not a very good writing. Okay. So you have to explain each and everything academically and scholarly. Okay, the previous scholars, if previous scholars written something, so you need to refer them or refer their writing with the particular work or piece of work. Okay. Okay, criticism is how to think about what people saw. This is very important, right? The criticism is how to think what people saw. Criticism generally, you can, or anybody can write a critical analysis or criticism on a piece of work anytime. That means you can write a film criticism on Battleship Potemkin today, and it was released back 1919. That means 101 years back. So a film 101 year old, you can write a film criticism on that film as well. But generally review, when we'll study review, and definitely I'll talk that. Film review, generally we write film review just after watching the film. Okay, this is another basic difference between film criticism and film. So criticism is how to think about what people saw. That is, if you have seen the film, so generally we read film criticism or we listen film criticism after watching the film. Okay, and we write or see the film review just before watching the film. We decide whether we should go for the movie or not Saturday evening. Okay, but film criticism is more scholarly more academic. So that's why that particular sentence is very important. How to think about what people saw. That means I have seen the film. I have seen the piece of work. Now the criticism will guide me how to see or how to experience the film, or what are the intellectual property of that piece of work. How that particular camera work explaining the particular emotion. What are the conflicts and how the conflicts explained by the director. Okay, so how to think about what people saw. This is very important. Most of the time, critics write about the good films. That means good film means the films which contain, which have has a lot of food for thought. Okay, it's not a simple straight narrative or straight photography, straight editing, linear editing, so when people write criticism with critically made films, so it helps us to think about a particular movie. Okay, so criticism is how to think about what people saw. So that means thinking material must be there. So that's why that particular word, how to think about what people saw, will stand for criticism. Right. Then good criticism decides that the film will be remembered for long or not. A particular criticism, a very stalwart critic, if a stalwart critic like Chidananda Dasgupta from India, Roger Ebert from America, if they write something, if they say that, yes, I think that new filmmaker has potential, and you must watch that film. I have seen that in Kolkata Film Festival, or Cannes, or Berlin, or Goa Film Festival. So you must watch the film. It has some potential. So that means they have some impact. So with their criticism or voice, people start watching films, and if that particular film has definitely, if the particular film has some potential, so it will become popular with the time. So this is the impact. This way the critics' impact come to an act. Okay. Then it is an academic, then scholarly, then written for the better understanding of cinema. That definitely, this is the fourth point, and definitely you can understand with the time that written for the better understanding of cinema. Again, when I say cinema, so after 40 minutes, that meeting link will cut and you have to rejoin. Okay. So, yes, written for the better understanding. Again, I'm just recapitulating that thing, what I have already said, that cinema doesn't mean that particular film, or I'm talking about a particular film. Cinema means the entire film fraternity, the content creator to distributor to the receiver as well, the entire film fraternity. So it's a better understanding of the cinema. So everything is related. Everything is related. The content, the way the people think that they create content from the society, and society think that the society copy the activity from the cinema. Okay, there is another conflict. So this is a vice versa thing. Actually, we can discuss that particular conflict one single day, whole day. Okay, so there are lots of social science research based on this conflict, like, which is exactly right, whether people copy from the cinema or films, or film copy from the society. Okay, so this is all about the criticism. We'll definitely talk about some serious critics and the impact lately. But this is all about the film criticism. Film criticism is some writing or blogging or vlogging or books about cinema, or better understanding of the cinema. And this write-ups decides whether which film will take his seat on the history of cinema or not. And these are scholarly approach, and the major responsibility of film criticism is to how to think about what people saw. Okay, so this is all about the film criticism. Going to the next slide. Yes, film review. We all know about film review, right? Because film review is very popular. Nowadays, very popular. In our days, when we sorry, excuse me. Yes, when we used to be the student or young, then film review, we used to read film review in the magazine, film in Bengali. There's Anandolo and some other Stardust was there. So, but nowadays, film review are very common in YouTube's. A lot of YouTuber in America and India, in regional language, in Hindi, in English, other languages, definitely in South Indian languages, North Indian languages, Gujarati, Marathi. So other languages. So each region, people talk in regional language, and those are very popular. I know those are very popular. Most of the reviewers are not trained reviewers. They are not film study students. Maybe they are 10+2 students, first year students, management students, engineering students. They do review, and then other reviewers from the newspapers or any TV channels. They are from mass communication background. They are not, all of them are not the film scholars. Like they have, most of the people have no film studies master degree or something like that. So, but they are popular. They are very popular among viewers. That means they serve their purpose. The popularity, gaining the popularity or viewership or something. That means the way they communicate, they are successful, right? So here it is different from the film criticism. Without knowing the academics, without knowing the critical part of filmmaking, you cannot write a film criticism. But without knowing all this minute or minuscule part of filmmaking, you can write a film review. Film review is a journalistic approach or amateuristic approach, and those are the popular writing. Okay, and those are not those people write or create those for popular media like YouTube or Facebook or Insta or any weekly magazine in popular words. And they share their experience most of the time, which is not good always. I like the film, so you must go. It's a must-watch movie. It's a completely bullshit or kind of word they use, though those popular word they use to catch people or viewers. So film review is a very popular way of communication as far as film criticism. It is a kind of film criticism, but it is a popular way of communication. And people, or we most of the time read or experience film review before watching the movie, before watching the film. So we decide whether we should go for the theater or not on the basis of the film review. Okay, so this is the basic differences of film review and film criticism. So we have explained our three keywords, right? The film review, film criticism, and the impact on cinema. So now, in our next slide, we are going to discuss the contribution or the impact. Yes, I have written contribution. Actually, these two are same thing: the contribution and impact. It has some contribution. That's why it has some impact. Okay. So if you have any question regarding the previous slides, that criticism or review, so you can ask, then we can go for the next. Okay, just remember the film review, sorry. The film review and the criticism, these are not the synonymous. Okay, most of the time people just keep some misconception that film review and the film criticism are same thing, but these are not, and they are not interchangeable kind of things. Film criticism, pure film criticism, is something different, and film review is something different. Film review is a lighter or journalistic approach, or popular approach, and film criticism is scholarly approach. One is scholarly approach, academic approach, another is popular. So now,
sorry to interrupt you, Jyotirmay sir.
yes.
Please log in again, because only 1 minute left.
Okay.
It would be better if you log in and
okay, students, then just please log in again.
Yes.
So next slide, the contribution or the impact. Please mute your.
Students, participants are requested to mute their volume. Yeah, thank you very much. Jyotirmay sir, almost all of them have
Okay.
them, so you can start.
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay. So the contribution are in. Yes, the film review or the criticism has immense impact in film fraternity. Generally, the filmmakers or those who are disconnected or closely related with filmmaking, they don't like or appreciate generally. I'm just repeating the word generally. They don't like film criticism. They don't actually like the critical sentences or critical thinking about the cinema. They most of the time, again, I'm telling the word most of the time, directors think that the people are criticizing us just like that. They don't know the pain, the amount of pain we are taking during our making or during our production. So they just come and sit into the inside the AC room and write whatever they want to write, and they just write just like that. So they don't have any idea about the pain, amount of pain we took. So who cares? People or the industry stands on the hands of the film producers and film directors, not on the hands of film critics. Then why should we bother about film critics? Okay, so if I don't stop making films, then what the critic will write or reviewer will write. So they are staying or living on our creation. So we are the greats. Some of the people think that way, and maybe most of the today's listener are film students, and you are going to be the maker next few years. So you can also start thinking like this way. So being a teacher, this is my humble request: don't think this way. This is a very harikiri kind of thinking process. Means suicidal kind of thinking process. Don't think that critics are always villains. Critics or reviewers are always act as a villain. If someone talks something bad about your film, and critics doesn't mean that saying bad only. They can use adjectives, as I said earlier, they can use adjectives, but they must have the reason or clear vision about that particular adjective. Okay, so address critical thinking, listen to them, and act upon them. If you are clever enough, listen to them. If you are a fool, then just ignore them and don't listen. See, clever people listen. Okay. So being a clever filmmaker, be a clever filmmaker, try to listen maybe some people or some critic or some reviewer will talk nonsense. Okay, you are clever now. So listen everything and act accordingly. Okay, so and I'm just going to explain you these 4 case histories, and these are the impact. Okay, I'm just going to explain you this 4 case histories that Roger Ebert and Martin Scorsese case history, the Alfred Hitchcock and French film critic case history, Laura Mulvey, Andrew Sarris case history, and Chidananda Dasgupta is not a case history. He is the history, and he is the beloved film critic of mine. That's why I just would like to say something about Chidananda Dasgupta. He has written more than 2,000 criticism, and he is the only Indian filmmaker from my city that he wrote for all the eminent film genres. Okay, and he is the father of the great director Aparna Sen, and is a friend of Jyotirmay. So we must know him and we must read his articles. So most of the articles are available in internet. So if you are interested enough, you must go and read Chidananda Dasgupta's writing about Jyotirmay and writing about other films. And he made some films as well, but those are not that important. His writing or write up, the way he wrote, and the standard of film criticism in India just lift up. So we must read Chidananda Dasgupta. So that's why I just write the name. But I would like to start with Alfred Hitchcock and French critics. And this is my case history, and this is the first case history I'm going to explain you. And from this case history, you can draw the impact, the amount of impact film criticism or film reviews has, or the potential of film criticism to make impact on cinema. Yes. So we know Alfred Hitchcock. He used to make film since the silent era, from into the televisions, then into silver screen as well. And his films were very popular among British people, among American people, and among European people as well. So during the French New Wave, when André Mazin and Jean-Luc Godard and other people was writing about films, so they start writing about Alfred Hitchcock. Prior to that, Alfred Hitchcock was a simple, popular filmmaker. People or scholars didn't address Alfred Hitchcock as the master of cinema. Okay. Alfred Hitchcock, without French film critics, maybe still Alfred Hitchcock remembered as a popular filmmaker. But what did French filmmaker or film critics has done? They took each and every film of Alfred Hitchcock, criticized them thoroughly, post-mortem them those films thoroughly, and write about the each experiment of Alfred Hitchcock and impact of those shots and those experiments into the cinema. Now, after reading the process of filmmaking, new process of filmmaking, new experiments, Zolly shot, we all know, created by Alfred Hitchcock, Zolly. Okay, so the zoom and the dolly together, we say the Zolly. So each and every minute detail has written by French film critics into their Cahiers du Cinéma and other film magazines. And after reading or experiencing those scholarly articles, other filmmakers start following Alfred Hitchcock and his making. And then gradually Hitchcock has become popular and the making style of Hitchcock has been popular. And this has happened only because of the French film critics. If French film critic didn't write about Alfred Hitchcock and his way of filmmaking, way of experiments, and the outcome of the experiments with the color, experiments with the camera operation, experiment with the camera lenses. So maybe the film fraternity or the entire cinema world, we miss some new technique, or we overlook some techniques. So this is one of the case studies that I wanted to share with you. And the next one is about, excuse me. Okay, the next one is about Roger Ebert. This is one request to you that if possible, just you must go and listen to Roger Ebert. Roger Ebert interviews and his criticism are available in YouTube. Roger Ebert used to write into New York Times, if I'm not so wrong. Then he was invited to one television channel, and he every weekend he reviewed film and writing criticism for newspapers and reviewing film into the television. So Roger Ebert, and gradually Roger Ebert become a very popular, very strong film reviewer and film critic among the world. So Martin Scorsese, what he has done, Roger Ebert has done, and he's no more. He's passed away. He has passed away. But what his website still going on, and his disciples, his students, still running his websites. They still doing the same thing. What they do, what Roger Ebert did with Martin Scorsese, when Scorsese start making film, nobody writes about his film. What Roger Ebert did, Roger Ebert repeatedly wrote about Martin Scorsese. And definitely at that time, Roger Ebert has some impact or has weightage or value as far as film critics concerned. So people start watching Scorsese movies, and the rest is history. We all know Scorsese, what he has done. But at the beginning, you need to have a start, right? So that was Roger Ebert took that responsibility, and he gives a start to Martin Scorsese. But what I'm saying, still his disciples are doing the same thing. This year, there is a one Bangladeshi film took part in Cannes, right? Something, if you can remember the name, I'm just forgetting the name. It's a Bangladeshi film, something Noor, something. I'm just forgetting the name. So Rehana Mariam Noor. Yes. Extremely sorry. Rajoshi. Yes. So Roger Ebert and his team, his disciples, wrote about Rehana Mariam. So, and it does matter. So entire film fraternity, entire world become aware about Rehana Mariam Noor and a Bangladeshi film, which is very important. Which somebody has to take the responsibility for newcomers, right? So newcomer filmmaker will make a film and they will just sit with his film. Nobody will write for me. Okay. So of good filmmakers, good film critics, they are not only for abusing people, abusing filmmakers. They have their own responsibility to show to show the mirror to the filmmaker and the film fraternity as well. Then to another name, one is Laura Mulvey, another is Andrew Sarris. Maybe among us, we all know these two names, the Laura Mulvey and Andrew Sarris. Laura Mulvey is a film critic and writer about cinema. With the help of Laura Mulvey's writing, today the feminist film theory, we all know, there's a very popular film theory in in cinema, that is feminist film theory. We know the feminism, we know the revolution, we know the movement, the feminist movement and all. But feminist film theory is another thing, another theory that is nowadays it's a very popular, and in mid 80s it was very popular. So Laura Mulvey is a person, a woman who with the help of his writing, with the help of his criticism, or with the help of his writing mainly, not criticism, with the help of his writing, is a film critic, he's a film writer mainly, theorist mainly. So with the help of his writing, a new theory has emerged actually. So this is another name. Another critic that is very important name, or is a star among early writers, at Andrew Sarris. So that is another name that we should always remember, Andrew Sarris. Why? Because Andrew Sarris, Andrew Sarris, he popular the auteur theory. The word auteur, definitely the senior students know the theory, or know the term that auteur. It's like author. Those who don't know, the first year students, or the new students, I just would like to say a few words. Like auteur means it's similar to the author. Author means the writer. So at that time, people start. It's early 60s or mid 60s. People start believing that every director has his signature in his film. So we should call directors as author, and we should pay the same respect as we give to the authors. So that from there, another theory evolves, and this is called auteur theory. So Truffaut and other French critic has their contribution as well, but Andrew Sarris has one of the major contribution in that. So I would like to just conclude with the next slide, that critic and film technique. The critic, they criticize things, then some film technique and film theories evolves, and from that film technique and the film theories, we can create other films, and other directors or other people can absorb that, or take borrow that technique or those theories, and they can accelerate that, and the process should go on. So critic or reviewer write about the technique, or theorize the technique, and that technique comes in front of our eyes, and from that technique or theory, the other people or other persons from the same fraternity can absorb the theory, or can borrow the theory or the technique, and they can use that in their cinema, their writing, their theory, their research, and we can take the film industry further. So these are the impacts of film criticism and review. We don't ignore film criticism and film review as some writing or write-ups or boring writing. We don't tag them like they are the boring writers or boring speakers. We should, being a filmmaker, we should listen to them, and we should talk to them, or we should address their writing and act on accordingly. So that is it for the day. If you have any question, or so you can, the time is almost up. So if you have any question, you can mail me, or you can contact me. So I can definitely, according to my ability, I would like to answer you. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you, sir.
Jyotirmay sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for enlightening students. And
Thank you.
participants are requested to fill the feedback form within 5 minutes. Yeah, thank you, Jyotirmay sir.